Yeah.
Okay, sorry, just things had to go mute there for a moment. We're good again. And Nu, can you just direct me?
So good morning, everyone. Good morning to the few of you that have joined us so far this morning. This is the last webinar for AFE INNOVNET Network. So as one of the objectives of the AFE INNOVNET Network, it was the plan to establish a long-term and sustainable network, structure to support the actors that are willing to improve the age friendliness of the community. So that's why the consortium members of the AFE network started to develop the Covenant on Demographic Change. We have today Anne-Sophie Parent from, Secretary General of Age Platform Europe, who will present us how it will look like and what is expected from it. And as a second speaker, we have Hugh O'Connor, working for the Age Friendly Islands, who will be here today to see how we can closely link their work and our work and make it better for Europe. And Sophie, I will give you the floor now.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay, so my name is Anne-Sophie Parent. I am Secretary General of Age Platform Europe. And for those of you who do not know well the AFE INNOVNET project, we have been coordinating this project, which started in February, almost 2 years ago now. What I'm going to do now is present you briefly the Covenant on Demographic Change, that is the main outcome of the AFE INNOVNET project, and explain to you how this was built, why, and so on. So just giving you just a minute. Avec ça, ça marche pas? Okay. Now I know how to move the slides. It's different from usual. Just very briefly, for those of you who do not know Age Platform Europe, because we do not always know, we had actually 45 registration for this webinar. Not everybody has joined yet, but some names sound new to us. So I thought maybe just to explain the role of Age Platform as coordinator of the project, but also just to explain to you who we are. We are a European non-governmental organization which was established back in 2001. Our membership is composed only of members organizations, so not individuals, but together our 150 member organizations represent more than 40 million older people. And our main mission is to promote older people's rights at EU level. Now we have moved also into working at the United Nations level, and together with the World Health Organization, for example, and also Council of Europe. So what is behind the Covenant on Demographic Change? One can wonder, is the Covenant just an additional declaration? No. What is behind it is in fact the World Health Organization, which started a big movement to promote age-friendly cities and communities worldwide as an answer to demographic change, and in order to make sure that societies were better adapted to the needs of their population. We were also inspired by another initiative, which is called the EU Covenant of Mayors on Sustainable Energy, which started a few years ago and is, in this case, an initiative from the European Commission. The ownership of the Covenant on Energy is with the European Commission, when our initiative on launching a Covenant on Demographic Change belongs to the members of the Covenant per se. So it's, I would say, an independent initiative from the Commission, but very heavily supported, of course, by the European Commission, by the European Parliament, and others. When did this support start? It actually goes back in the European year 2012 on active aging and solidarity between generations. For those of you who were involved or heard about this year, you knew that there was a big movement that started to mobilize a large coalition of diverse stakeholders, not only the usual suspects like civil society organizations or public authorities, but going beyond that and involving all stakeholders which felt that they had a role to play and could contribute to create a more age-friendly European Union by 2020. So that included service providers, industries, researchers, and so on. We also got very strong support from the Committee of the Regions, who included in the opinion that they were asked to publish by the EU Danish presidency at that time. They included a call on the European Commission and Parliament to support a covenant on demographic change for the purpose I will describe later on. So that meant we had very strong support from inside the EU. We also had another key initiative which started at that moment, actually back in 2011, which is called the European Innovation Partnership for Active and Healthy Aging, in short EIP. In particular, there was an action group, DEEP4, which brought together all the stakeholders who were interested in innovation for age-friendly buildings, cities and environment as a support to active and healthy aging. This meant, because the EIP is a new process of creating partnerships at EU level, and it got a lot of visibility at, among the European Commission in particular, it meant that the covenant, the idea of having a covenant was picked up and supported at those levels. What were we trying to promote when we were saying, let's work together to promote age-friendly environments? What does that mean? This is a question we heard from different stakeholders, either those who were already involved in the AFE INNOVNET project, or people who were interested and wanted to understand better. So what it means is actually any initiative that supports active aging and good physical and mental health for all. Initiatives that foster social inclusion and active participation. Some initiatives that you may be implemented would fall under this category. But also when you are implementing or taking measures to support independent living and quality of life in old age. And of course, when you treat everyone with respect, whatever one's age, and you protect the most vulnerable. Those were the key principles, we would say, of age-friendly environments. This was not something that we invented. There was a movement already going on and quite good work being done, and you will hear that from the second speaker. But a fundamental principle that underlines age-friendly environments is that those initiatives should adopt a participative approach that involve all the people in the co-production of the solutions to their needs. So the co-production of age-friendly environments. And you will see that this is really very important if we want to achieve a society that really meets the needs and expectations of our aging population. So very briefly, why did we decide to set up and launch a covenant to promote age-friendly environments? First of all, because there are major challenges that everyone, public authorities in particular, face in Europe, elsewhere as well, but in Europe, we are here mainly concerned with the European region, we would say. Our objective with the covenant is to help local and regional authorities respond better to their demographic challenge through the creation of a society for all ages. This, we are convinced, and WHO was the first one to highlight this would help improve the healthy life expectancy, because we know that we are enjoying longer lives, but unfortunately the additional years we gain on longevity are not all spent in good health. In fact, there is an increasing number of years that we can expect to spend in poor health when we grow older. And having a health condition, this should not necessarily mean having impairments that would prevent you from participating or would make your life difficult and dependent on others. Here is where age-friendly environments can play a key role. By helping older people remain independent for longer, if you have a better environment, better adapted services, this is key to help and support independent living. And also, as a result, this will lower the pressure on public health systems and will make the system more sustainable on the longer term. It's not because our population is aging that we should automatically take it for granted that we will have a sharp increase in the health expenditure. If we can create age-friendly environments, this should help a lot. How did we get started? We were lucky, remember, back a few slides where I mentioned the European Innovation Partnership on Active and Healthy Aging, because they actually understood what we were trying to do and saw the benefits of a covenant on demographic change. There was a call for proposals, a call for project that was launched soon after by the DG Connect, the European Commission, whereby they said that they would found a network, thematic network, which would promote age-friendly environments and would launch a covenant on demographic change, as well as develop methodologies to measure the socio-economic impact of age-friendly initiatives and to facilitate users' involvement, so here in particular older people's involvement. The call also required the mobilization of a large number of actors. There were minimum requirements to be eligible for funding, but also one key objective was to increase the network, so mobilize more members, and then set up a repository of good practice so that everybody could benefit from each other's experience, and it would help hopefully everyone to move in the right direction rather than duplicate mistakes made by others. We were also clearly seeking to align our work with the World Health Organization Global Network on Age-Friendly Cities and Communities. Why? Because that was the inspiration we took from the beginning, and we saw great added value in linking up and joining forces with the global movement on age-friendly cities and communities. So to do that, we submitted an application for the AFE INNOVNET thematic network, and we said at the end of the project we will launch a covenant on demographic change to ensure a long-term impact of the project. So most of you have seen the project website, and here we have added these slides just to let you know that all the work we have done through this project will be recycled, I would say, adapted to become the website of the covenant. So from the date of the launch, soon in December, the AFE website will turn into the covenant website. It will mean also we will use the functionalities that exist under this website and use them for the upcoming covenant. We will, of course, include the registration process. For example, the registration form will turn into an application form for those who want to join the covenant, and the repository will turn into a repository of the action plans that the covenant members will share with each other. The blog and so on will continue because they have proved to be very useful in connecting people. So now let's move to the covenant. During the course of the project, together with the consortium members, we were 29 public authorities at local and regional levels, research centers, civil society organizations, and large networks representing public authorities like the Council of European Municipalities and Regions. During the discussions, it became quite clear that the covenant should try to have the legal capacity of raising funding for itself, but also to exist and claim ownership of the covenant per se. We decided very early in the process not to follow the example of the Covenant on Energy, which is, as I mentioned earlier, a Commission-owned initiative, but we wanted the covenant to become really a legal personality that will be owned by its own members, and of course manage and led and would work on the priorities that the members would decide. So that's why we decided to establish it as an international non-for-profit association under the Belgian law, because there is a law in Belgium which facilitates this kind of associations. It will be, of course, open to all interested parties. The main target is the public authorities, so local, regional, and national authorities. We will be able to join the full members category, but of course, we wanted also to keep the other stakeholders who have been involved and have also a key role to play in creating age-friendly environments. That means civil society organization, industries, research centers, and universities. The members of the Covenant will all voluntarily commit to make age-friendly environments a reality in their community, and the key point is that by joining, they agree to share their experience with other Covenant members. So they will have, when they register, to tick boxes confirming that they agree with those requirements, I would say. This was a requirement we made to show that the AFE INNOVNET thematic network, you could join just if you were interested in looking at what we were doing. Now we are moving to the next stage, meaning the Covenant is really there for those who are committed to take action. So that's why we are strengthening the conditions to join the Covenant. Of course, the Covenant, as we said earlier, is not starting from scratch. Far from that, we have actually built on and benefited a lot from the experience of the World Health Organization Global Network on Age-Friendly Cities and Communities. There is also a very good link with the WHO European Healthy City Network, which concerns the European region. A very key initiative which has played a key role in getting a common understanding of what should be the vision of the Covenant is the Dublin Declaration 2013 on age-friendly cities and communities. I'm sure you will hear more from the second speaker, Hugh O'Connor, because he and his team were behind this Dublin Declaration. There exist already national and thematic networks who are bringing together stakeholders who are promoting age-friendly initiatives. For example, the French network of age-friendly cities that exists, but you have also informal networks who are promoting age-friendly environments, and they should be, of course, part of the movement. Of course, all partners were involved in the European Innovation Partnership on Active and Healthy Aging. We want to keep contact with them and continue to build synergies with them. And there is a new European Innovation Partnership launched a couple of years ago by the Commission on smart cities, with which we have built strong links, because for us it's quite obvious that you cannot be a smart city if you're not age-friendly. So it was important to bring this inclusiveness dimension into the work they are doing. Here, very briefly, for those who do not know what the Covenant membership will be composed of, we have drafted some form of a grid template, which shows that the full members, so the main target of the Covenant will be the public authorities, as I mentioned earlier, local and regional and national authorities, as well as the formal networks of local and regional authorities, such as the Council of European Regions and Municipalities, which are committed and sign when they register that they commit to implement an age-friendly environment plan. This is to be in line with the World Health Organization commitment to take action. Then we have created an ordinary member category for non-profit stakeholders, which will include local public authorities who do not feel ready yet to commit to implement a plan within 2 years. So they want to be part, they want to support, but they feel they are not ready yet. We want, of course, to include also civil society organizations, be they national, local, or EU international. This doesn't matter as long as they work on age-friendly environments. And then, of course, non-for-profit research centers and universities. Then we wanted also to have a specific categories for profit-making actors, and we call them associated partners. So it means mainly industries, service providers, and so on, who, for some of them, are very committed and have developed very good solutions in cooperation with national authorities, and they would like to join and support the covenant. The reason for dividing members into those different categories, you will understand now, is because the rights they will have and the commitments they will take will be different. If we start looking at what full members will have the right to do when they join as full members, and here I have really indicated that the full membership category, to remind everybody, is that it's for public authorities only. The full members will have the right to vote on all governance issues, including the election of the president, who must come from a full member. So that means must come from a public authority. We wanted that to be sure that the covenant will continue to feel that it is owned by public authorities, because they are our main targets. They will have the right to get support from the covenant secretariat, of course within the limits of the budget. I'll come back to that. They will get visibility on the covenant website about their action plan. It will be made public, but also they will be able to post articles to the newsletter, blog, and so on. For the local authorities and communities, they will have the right to join the WHO Global Network of age-friendly cities and communities. Why only local authorities and communities? This is because this is the target group of WHO Global Network. But they have also affiliate programs which are promoted by regional authorities or national authorities. And the WHO is working on that with us to try and see how quickly we could organize also a very strong affiliation and connection between initiatives taken by covenant full members who would be national authorities or regional authorities. So that is for the moment limited to local communities, but there is the possibility for national programs or regional program to actually apply to WHO Global Network as an affiliate program. Then, of course, full members will have the right to participate in activities such as workshops, field visits that we will try to organize, of course, within the limits of our budgets, and then partnership opportunities. They will be able to identify other similar full members, for example, with whom they might like to cooperate. But there are duties, commitments linked also to the full membership. It will mean they will have to indicate when they register that they accept the Dublin Declaration on Age-Friendly Cities and Communities in Europe, 2014, as the shared values and principles of action. This is a very good document that was developed back in 2013, and it was very important for us to build the link with this initiative and make sure that everybody who will join the covenant will share what is mentioned in there, because it's really a good summary of what we are trying to do. And then you have the full members will have to tick the box that they commit to implement a formal action plan on the promotion of age-friendly environments within 2 years of accession. This does not mean that they have to cover all domains and be fully age-friendly within the 2 years. We want to be open to even beginners who start from scratch. That's really the main purpose. We want to enable them to access experience from others and benefit from that experience so that they can move faster into their objective to become age-friendly. But the only commitment is to really get started, design an action plan together with their local older citizens, and then start working on it. Then, of course, they should not keep the information for themselves. They should share it with the other members of the covenant. Why? Because it will inspire others to improve their own action plan, but it will also help those public authorities who have joined as ordinary members because they didn't know how to get started. They will see how others got started, and it will hopefully inspire them and help them move from ordinary members into full members. And then once a year, they will need to submit a progress report so that we keep track of what they are doing. It may mean that they have not been able to move a lot. We know the situation at the grassroots. It's not an easy period for the moment, but we need an annual report at least to see and check that this is still a key priority for the local communities and that they keep working on it even if they have difficulties. Then the category of ordinary members, they will have the right to vote on governance issues, but they will not be involved in the election of the president because only full members, public authorities, can elect a president among full members. They will have also visibility on the covenant website. They will be able also to upload, if they want, information about what they are doing, and that we hope they will do. It's not a formal commitment because they are not full members, but we certainly encourage everybody to do it. They will be able to participate in activities and, of course, benefit from partnership opportunities. But their commitments will be that they have to accept the Dublin Declaration 2013, that they have to indicate that they support the objective of the association and show it by what they post in terms of activities and so on. And they will have to agree that they share information about their action and they cooperate with other members of the association. Then the last categories, which is for profit-making organization or bodies, industries, and so they will have no right to vote because we want to keep the non-for-profit characteristic of the covenant. So that meant that the profit-making organization should not have the right to decide on the work priorities of the covenant. But they will gain visibility on the website. They will be able to share information, non-promotional information about what they are doing, and they will be encouraged to do so. They will have the possibility to participate in activities, of course, and benefit from partnership opportunities. What they will have to do is, again, tick the box that they support the objective of the association, that actually, I see here, I forgot it, they have also to accept the Dublin Declaration as the vision for the covenant, and they have to share information about their activities whenever they have something interesting to share. Now, the founding members is not a category per se on the long term, but we felt that those who are very enthusiastic and are going to join the covenant before the 15th of January 2016, they should be indicated as founding members of the covenant. It will have an impact for the first 3 years of the covenant because the founding members will have the right to nominate 10 members on the board of directors. We will have a seat there for the first 3 years. We saw this was necessary to make sure that the covenant board of directors includes people who have followed the covenant and know what we are trying to do and have all the background knowledge about what we are trying to achieve, and will be able to help inside the board of directors to make sure that the covenant really takes off. So we really encourage every one of you to join before the 15th of January because that will increase your chance of getting a seat at the board of directors. The statutes actually, which are available on the website, indicate clearly how all this is going to be organized. Now let's move to the launch of the covenant. We have a date set, which is the date where the Committee of the Regions could accommodate this large meeting. They are very supportive, and we will have their president who will join us for the launch. It is going to be a very highly political event, we would say. We have very strong support from different Directorate General at the European Commission, strong support of the European Parliament. You will see there will be several co-chairs of the Intergroup on Aging and Solidarity Between Generations who will join us on that day. And we already have a full room, we would say, with 150 participants. We are going to maybe do a little bit of overbooking in case a few people are delayed with their flights or have problems, last minute problems, but it has gained a lot of visibility. And the event will be web streamed because unfortunately, we had to say no to some people, and we know that there will be more people who will want to follow that directly. Then the next 2 days will be devoted to workshops we developed together with the World Health Organization Europe, who has been leading in parallel to our own project, a project called Age-Friendly Environment Europe, whereby they have adapted the WHO guides and methodologies to the work we are trying to do here within Europe. This will enable those who participate, which are mainly again public authorities, to discuss and learn from each other. How do you get started with an action plan? What do you expect from the covenant? What can we do to help everybody get started as quickly as possible and as efficient as possible? This will be the key discussions on the 8th and 9th. The events of the workshops are organized first in a plenary in the morning of the 8th, where both AFE INNOVNET and WHO will report on their respective projects, and then we will have 7 workshops running in parallel, different languages, where we will be 12 to 15 people maximum, to really give the possibility to everybody to contribute to the discussion. Now let me conclude with what will happen when the covenant is launched. It has raised lots of expectations, but we know that the AFE INNOVNET project will end at the end of January 2016, and so will funding that has been supporting us. So one key piece of work that we will need to do together with the covenant members, and here we have already commitments, for example, from Age Platform Europe, but from a few others. We will continue to pick the heads and try to find long-term financial sustainability for the covenant, as well as sustainability in terms of membership, because we want the membership to continue to increase. We want to continue our campaign to mobilize more and more members and to keep strong links with the World Health Organization, of course. What we have learned from the 2 initiatives we tried, we submitted 2 projects for funding. Both of them were rejected. We had hoped to get some form of funding to support the covenant through those projects, but it seems that expecting the covenant to be funded through project application is quite unreliable. Not for its core activities. It can be useful to develop some new tools, to initiate some new objectives in a specific area also, but to fund its core activities, we have to find other ways. So what we have done a lot of lobby at the European Parliament, who supports our call to the Commission to provide long-term core funding for the covenant. We have no news yet about that, but we hope that the Commission will respond positively to a question sent by the European Parliament. We have also, as I mentioned earlier, decided to set up the covenant as an international non-for-profit association, so give it a legal personality, so that it will be able to seek EU funding and other sources of funding. We know that some foundations, for example, are doing a lot on the promotion of age-friendly environments. They might be interested to become sponsors of the covenant for part of its budget anyway. We can hope so. And we have also decided to organize the work, and have already secured for 2016 minimum activities that will be organized through events in related fields. For example, there will be a big Dutch presidency event in Groningen around aging and urban planning, which is going to be an opportunity to bring covenant members together and then organize as a side event a covenant meeting per se. We will try to organize initiatives also and events around the Committee of the Regions Open Days, and we already have strong support from the Council of Europe, from the Committee of the Regions, sorry. We would welcome and would provide a venue if we would bring together, for example, meetings of the Board of Directors or General Assembly of the Covenant. We could be hosted at the Committee of the Regions, so that is already a big help for us. So what will be expected from the Covenant members? We want members to help the Covenant, for example, by providing some contribution in kind, something like organizing a peer review or an event, if they want to organize field visits, for example, in their area. Each members will be covering their own cost, but you need a member to take the initiative of organizing such a workshop. They can support the Covenant by sharing their experience. As we said, this would be very beneficial for the others. And then we have included in the statutes, because of the negative answers we got from the 2 project applications we had submitted, the consortium agreed that in the statute we should envisage the possibility, if needed, to raise membership fees, small membership fees, but just to have a minimum budget for the basic coordination costs. So small secretariat, we would be able to function. Just to let you know, for Age Platform Europe, we have now included in our work program 2016 some time for Julia, who has been coordinating the project, as well as basic costs to support some activities for the Covenant. So that's what we hope all members of the Covenant will do, so that they can provide them some contribution in kinds like time of staff or whatever, and together, if we coordinate that well, we will be able to have a Covenant which will be taking off quickly, which will be delivering good results, and then we will be able to attract sponsors and funders when they will see that the Covenant is really bringing an added value and is helping create age-friendly environments across the EU. So I will stop here and give the floor back to you for the moderation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anne-Sophie. So do not hesitate to write down your questions if you have any so far. I will give the floor now to you, and then we'll start discussing your questions if you have. And I mean, here you can even ask your questions to Anne-Sophie if you have some. There you go. The floor is yours now here. Here? Il ne s'entend pas. Maybe you need to write to here? Can you hear me? We don't hear you. Oops. Ah, voilà. Do you hear us? It seems we have a little technical problem. Pourtant, on l'entend, ça faille. Here, can you... Just bear with us. We have a little problem connecting you. Can you speak, you? Curieux, hein? Can you speak? The floor is yours. Parce qu'on alors c'est pas lui qui... Si, c'est lui. Mais son micro...
Okay, Nu, can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, yes, we can. Can you hear us?
Okay, I've just got an email or a message to convey that new, and hopefully the various delegates can hear me. I'm just at a slight disadvantage in that I'm not hearing from you. But look, if new can, we might have to rely on smoke signals and hand signals, but yes, I'm getting a thumbs up from new. You can hear me, okay, and hopefully I can follow the online questions in the corner new. Okay, well look, to new and Sophie and to AFE INNOVNET, thank you very much for the opportunity to present today and to share a little with you briefly on the work of Age Friendly Ireland, but particularly so about the relevance, role and value of the Dublin Declaration in the context of the launch of this very important covenant, and particularly so our expectations and ambitions for the covenant, and effectively how we feel here in Ireland, how it will cement and we hope elevate the work of the Age Friendly programme here in Ireland. So maybe just to preface a little bit, or very even briefly, who is Age Friendly Ireland? And Sophie, in her discussion, talked about the role and relevance of the WHO and its formative work on developing a framework for age-friendly cities and communities. A number of the municipalities or local authorities here in Ireland were forerunner partners to that, with Dundalk here in Ireland participating along with 32 other cities globally in testing for the Age Friendly Cities framework. So with Louth, that county north of Dublin, participating in the framework, there was a commitment then to develop a municipality or local authority-wide commitment to age-friendly principles and planning methods, and from there effectively the Irish Age Friendly programme was born. So the role of Age Friendly Ireland is to effectively to promote those partnerships and collaborations and to support the formation of these multi-agency alliances to engage on the thematic issues and points of relevance that are of priority importance to older people living locally. In parallel to the development of this multi-agency approach, we provide guidance to those alliances as they engage and consult widely with older people, and we also support them along with a number of key NGOs and older people's organisations here in Ireland to support them on the development of the older people's councils. And Sophie talked about or hinted at the relevance of a top-down, bottom-up approach. That is very much key to the programme here in Ireland. So we guide the alliances. We provide tools and methodologies for the practitioners at the frontline and management level, and we look to work as a hub for knowledge transfer, looking to broker connections and information exchange between the various officials, the service providers and the older people, both locally and nationally. And our aim over time is to foster that exchange of age-friendly best practices that older people want and that they value, which are appropriate, sustainable and cost-effective. So it very much speaks to the ambitions that Anne-Sophie would have set out as part of her presentation on the Covenant. Just moving on to the next slide, the Irish context. These are statistics relevant to Ireland, and probably statistics that are mirrored across Europe, or perhaps are even more significant across Europe. But people are living longer. That has considerable implications for a whole host of areas, from pensions to healthcare to housing. But beyond, ageing in the past, certainly in Ireland, has been approached very much from the language of challenge rather than opportunity. Yes, most certainly challenge does exist, but the WHO-inspired age-friendly programme provides an opportunity to look at this changing demographic as in equal measure from the perspective of both challenge and opportunity, and to look at that lifetime of accumulated talent, expertise and wisdom that older people have, and that it provides a facility to tap into that talent, wisdom and expertise and experience base, and identify, look, what are the issues that matter most to older people and people as they age, and what are the changes that can be brought about that will impact on their quality of life, their health and their experience aging within a city or community. Anne-Sophie has spoken a little bit about the context for the age-friendly movement, the age-friendly cities, communities, environment movement. The World Health Organization set out its vision and supported the development of a framework to guide the building of age-friendly communities going back to 2006 and 2007. One of our larger towns, smaller cities, Dundalk, participated in that study. And from there, effectively, as I said, the Irish Age-Friendly Programme was born. Louth, that lead local authority, was the real pioneer in this space, and it took visionaries in the form of the then county manager Con Murray, the current county manager Joan Martin, and a key programme manager Mary Deary, working with other partners in the police service, academia, NGOs and the health service, agreeing to share plans, share resources and plan together for the building and the developing of a more age-friendly community in Louth. That framework provided the initial template for the building of the Louth Age-Friendly County Programme, and has continued to provide the template as Age-Friendly Ireland has supported the extension of this programme to all local authorities beyond Louth. A lot was learnt in those formative early years, particularly by Louth, in terms of what works well, challenges and ways to overcome them. Thinking about what has underpinned the programme, leadership has definitely played a key role in underpinning the programme. I spoke about the commitment on the part of the participating agencies, the leadership of the local authority, the leadership of the most senior executives in the form of the chief executive.
We lost you.
The commitment on the part of the elected representatives to supporting this vision, to supporting this focus on the changing demographic, and that came initially and has served the programme here in Ireland well through to this day. Anne-Sophie spoke about the Dublin Declaration and the role that it plays. It was developed by Dublin City, the age-friendly programme here in Ireland, in partnership with the World Health Organization and the International Federation on Aging, and has set out a vision and a set of principles and a commitment towards planning around age, and has helped to ensure that this theme, this commitment to planning around age remains high on the agenda of the various participating agencies. Okay, in parallel to the Dublin Declaration, or thinking about the Dublin Declaration and what it involves or encourages or supports, Anne-Sophie has probably highlighted, or has very effectively highlighted, these themes, these values, these principles, and it's something that we feel that the Covenant will not only support, but will look to elevate and enhance and strengthen. The theme of participation, older people working in partnership with the relevant key agencies, be they local authorities, municipalities, health service agencies, police, academia, business. Efficiency, this idea of, Anne-Sophie spoke about cost, this kind of doomsday scenario that is, or the narrative that aging brings with it additional costs. Yes, certainly it does bring challenge, but it brings with it opportunity in equal measure. So that opportunity to plan together, to share together, to work collaboratively together across the silos and across the agencies, and for those models of good practice to be supported, scaled up and learned from, and to be replicated more broadly here, both here in Ireland and across Europe. Collaboration, partnership and innovation have been key to the programme, and implementation actually delivering out in very practical and pragmatic ways. So Anne-Sophie spoke about co-production. That co-production and this notion of co-design has been very much at the heart of the programme, and so agencies committing to work in partnership with older people in cities and communities to deliver out on actions and changes that will bring about a change to their quality of life experience. So that theme of partnership and co-production has been core to the Dublin Declaration and the age. It's through the Covenant on Demographic Change. In terms of the thematic areas that we look at, many will be very familiar with the eight thematic areas or domains as set out in the WHO guide. These are the thematic areas that we look at as we build an age-friendly programme. And working through a process of collaboration, agencies coming together, planning as part of an alliance, agreeing to go out and consult with older people, identifying the practical changes that are required to bring about improvements in quality of life, improvements to the housing infrastructure, to transport, to the overall environment, and agreeing to make a shared commitment to develop actions, plans and commitments to respond to those particular issues that older people have raised as part of the consultation process. And they're in areas like supports to stay at home, transport that meets needs, safer places, more opportunities to participate, better health services, more opportunities to volunteer, to make those neighbourhoods better places for all to live in and to grow in. In terms of scaling up the programme, as I mentioned, provided the template and has continued to be the front-runner county for the building of this age-friendly environment. It has provided the template from which all other counties have looked to mirror and emulate, and Age-Friendly Ireland's role has been very much to look at the Louth model and to support its extension and extension more widely. The Dublin Declaration has played a key role in supporting that extension, and as Anne-Sophie, the Dublin Declaration sets out a very practical, very pragmatic, yet very comprehensive, inclusive set of principles and values for action towards building and developing age-friendly cities and communities. It was endorsed by stakeholders that would have participated in the EU Summit on Active and Healthy Ageing, which was convened in Dublin in 2013, and it has grown and expanded from there. Initially, the Dublin Declaration was launched in partnership with the WHO at its first international conference on age-friendly cities and communities in 2011, at which 66 different regions, cities and towns signed the declaration. 10 representatives from 10 European countries would have signed at that stage. This grew again in 2013, where there was a re-signing of the declaration as part of the EU Summit, at which a further set of stakeholders would have signed and committed to the principles set out as part of the declaration. And there was very good European representation at that, and very strong engagement by European cities and municipalities with the declaration as part of the 2013 signing. These slides, I'm sure, will be made available to delegates participating as part of the webinar. but as you can see, there's very extensive engagement with the declaration, and very pleasingly here in an Irish context, I suppose we've made somewhat of a unique national commitment to building age-friendly communities, in that all 31 of our local authorities and municipalities have now signed the declaration. So I think we're just moving on to that next slide. Just reflecting on some of the kind of key building blocks in this adoption of the Dublin Declaration as an integral component of the Covenant on Demographic Change, and Sophie has referenced a number already, but obviously the WHO's Age-Friendly Cities and Counties, Cities and Communities programme has been a key driver, and particularly, and this has been enhanced by the development of the Global Network on Age-Friendly Cities and Communities. The EIP partnership from European context on active and healthy ageing, and the work of the D4 Action Group has been particularly valuable. As Anne-Sophie has indicated, the target of the EIP is to extend the healthy life expectancy of older European citizens by 2 years by 2020 through what's called a triple win strategy of improvements to the quality of life and health of European citizens, to bring about improvements to the effectiveness and sustainability of our public and private services and systems, and to bring about an increased take-up in innovation to strengthen economic growth and job creation. So it's very much built on the principles and values set out in the declaration, but has broadened it to focus on sustainability and the relevance of the public and private systems, and that strong focus on innovation and strengthening those opportunities for economic growth and job creation. Moving to the Covenant on Demographic Change, we're obviously very pleased to see the Dublin Declaration being set out as that kind of vision or text, and that set of values that those committing to the Covenant will embrace. But in coming full circle back to one of those earlier slides, we see it as a real opportunity to for members of the Covenant to commit to sharing resources, good practices and information, to really strengthen their commitment towards partnership, and those partnerships that go beyond the municipalities and the local authorities, to include that range of stakeholders that have a role to play in bringing about those improvements, particularly health services, the police service, and the work of the NGOs, academia and business, that it is really a multi-sectoral, multi-agency response that is required to bring about the necessary changes and improvement. It's very pleasing to see, and I think it's going to be very advantageous that the way in which the Covenant has been structured, looking at the varying strands of membership and the varying levels of commitment that different members can bring to the Covenant, it allows members, if you like, to travel with this programme and with this movement. And I think of most value, we see that to mobilise, to support most certainly, but that focus on monitoring and reporting we see has been particularly advantageous, and Sophie described it as an opportunity to inspire others to take action. Here, I think in Ireland we've got that small country advantage, that small country effect. We can look to scale things up reasonably quickly, but we would still describe the Irish Age Friendly programme as being in it's gone beyond its infancy most certainly, but being in its early stages of development, it's challenging this notion of multi-agency working, but we're seeing very practical changes being introduced and pockets of practice emerging in various locations across the country. The request or that commitment to share resources, to report, will help to lift up those pockets of practice and to support their extension to other areas of the country and to further afield. So we see that as being particularly advantageous and helpful. But going back to that earlier slide, that slide 4, The covenant speaks very closely to that notion of partnership, co-production, the involvement of so many different stakeholders and the requirement of so many different stakeholders to come to the table to participate in this this movement, this program, this commitment to developing more age-friendly environments. And we see the covenant as having such a key role to play in bringing about those necessary improvements and keeping this complex, demanding, challenging theme to the forefront and high on the agenda of the participating agencies. So it's a very exciting time. We're in awe of the work of the AFE INNOVNET and the partners, Nu and Anne-Sophie and our colleagues, and we're delighted to support the Covenant, and we will be in parallel an invitation to all 31 of our local authorities to become members of the Covenant, as we see it as such a strong and valuable opportunity to bring additional focus to this key area and building more sustainable age-friendly communities for all. So look, I hope that's been helpful as a run through on the Age Friendly Ireland programme, the role of the declaration and our ambitions and hopes for the Covenant, and the rationale for as to why we attach such value and significance to this soon to be launched Covenant, and why we're looking forward so much to engaging with it. So look, I hope the absence of sound at my direction hasn't hindered the presentation too much, but I look forward to any questions that you might have. So back over to Nu and Sophie.
Thank you. Can you hear us now? No. Okay.
Do you hear us? Can you show you if you hear us? No?
Okay. Technical problems, it always happens. Anyway, we have a question from Ilona. So of course, seniors are at the core center of our work by adapting age-friendly environments. How do you and Sophie intend to direct the communication to directly inform seniors about how local and regional governments can adapt their environments?
Yeah, well, a big thank you for that question, Ilona. That's a key question for us, as you can guess, as self-advocacy network for older people. It will be indeed very important to share the information and mobilize all the citizens themselves to play a key role in the Covenant. Why? Because all the people at local level, but also at regional and national level, if they organize themselves and contact more local authorities, regional, national authorities to take action, the impact of the movement and the scaling up of innovative solutions for age-friendly environments will be much wider. We do have already quite a strong interest from many public authorities, and we want in parallel, of course, to make sure that they will disseminate information and communicate with their... now I hear you.
Nu, I've got a question in just, and unfortunately the screen is frozen, so I hope you're receiving this. How do you direct the communication to seniors in Ireland? One of the key value that we subscribe to, but it's is ask yourselves what's at the heart of the age-friendly program here in Ireland. We very much look to the voice of the older person. The plans of the agencies and the age-friendly cities and counties are very much formed in response to issues that are surfaced up by older people locally. So we go out and consult with older people using the WHO 8-domain framework to identify the issues that are most important to them, and they inform the development of the multi-agency strategy or plan. In parallel to the development of this multi-agency alliance, an Older People's Council is formed, and they are a key partner of the age-friendly programme at city and county level. So there's an ongoing dialogue between agencies and older people. The ask of us and our partner NGOs and older people's organisations is to build the capacity of those older people's councils to ensure that they're more reflective of the diverse local older population, and that they're engaging meaningfully with the multi-agency alliances.
It seems that you have problems hearing us. I hope the rest of the participants can hear what we are saying. Otherwise, just drop a note and we will see it, and we will try to find out if there is additional technical problems. But just like you was explaining, this shows the role that public authorities and hopefully all covenant members will play when they will decide to join the covenant. That means contacting and setting up local groups of older people to design with them, assess first their needs, then design with them solutions, possible solutions, and making sure that they are involved in the whole process of finding a solution, implementing it, assessing it, and improving it. In addition to that, we need also to mobilize older people to go and convince more public authorities to join the covenant and take action. That will be the role we will play through our campaign, as I mentioned earlier. In our work plan for next year, we have included aid to promote the involvement of older people who should become active agents to mobilize their local, regional and national authorities to join the movement and work on age-friendly environments. This is needed because we need to also make sure that when there is no action taken by the public authorities, that the civil society or the people themselves do not just wait for action to be taken, but decide themselves to take the lead and convince the public authorities to join. So we hope also that all members of the covenant, whatever their category or the kind of stakeholders, will pay very much attention to the need to involve all the people from the beginning and use the examples of those who have already done so, like you was explaining how they did in Ireland, to set up really a proper dialogue and involvement of older people. Then to help everyone explain what are age-friendly environments, what can be done, what is the purpose of the covenant, and how everybody from individual people, public authorities, stakeholders, industries can get involved. We have developed in the framework of the AFE INNOVNET project some plain language which present the covenant, which present age-friendly environments, and even an infographic that explains the whole process and how we got to the launch of the covenant. Those documents are available on the website and will be, of course, promoted and used, hopefully very widely. They can be uploaded so that there will be an increased awareness of themselves about the added value and what they can do to contribute to the objective of the covenant. I'm glad to hear Ilona's response. Then did we get a question from
So yes, Alan from Royal says that of course the work of seniors is really important, but we do not have to neglect the work of other people, other members of the community. Not only seniors, but also youngster people, which is more intergenerational than what we might think it is, and thus creating a more inclusive society where everybody is included.
Yes. In fact, the way we explain age-friendly environments is not meaning friendly to all the people, but friendly to all ages. So this intergenerational dimension is a very strong component of what we are trying to do. And it has attracted a lot of attention since the year 2012, which, as you remember, was on active aging and solidarity between generations. It is important when you develop whatever measures you implement at local level or policy you want to introduce, that you look at the needs of all population groups, paying due attention to the needs of the aging population, but making sure that you keep the other age groups' needs on board as well. So that's the concept of design for all. For some of them, they call it like this.
So we have a question from Francesca, I guess from Italy, where apparently there is a problem on how to involve local and regional authorities in involving all the people in the process of identifying the problems that should be solved to create age-friendly environments. And Sophie, or maybe Fiona, if you can hear us, apparently not. And Sophie, how could you maybe give an argument to Francesca on how to convince local and regional authorities to involve seniors in the process?
Yes, this I would say is a major challenge we are facing, because often the older people's community is composed of very active and engaged people who are active in their own organizations, but have not necessarily yet understood how and why they should mobilize their local groups of citizens. This is a challenge, I think, in most member states, not so much in Ireland, and we hope that we will get you to come back on this question, because they have developed a very good methodology. Inside the AFE INNOVNET project, we have developed a guide on how to do that, suggestions, and we are not saying it will work necessarily, you will need to adapt to your local context, but it does require efforts in the beginning. Once the process is well understood, it becomes easier. But one thing that a challenge that many mayors meet is that the older people who are in contact with them are often there to come to get some support or service, or to benefit from activities they organize. They are not themselves in the mood yet, or do not understand yet what role they can play as co-producer of age-friendly solutions. So that's a capacity that we need to build. For that reason, Age Platform Europe is opening a new membership category, actually, to access to local groups in the framework of our campaign on age-friendly environments, to help them understand what they can do. It's good that they, most of those groups would be organizing activities for all the people, but would not try to mobilize all the resources that the seniors have, and would be, for many of them, once you see initiatives where they have been able to mobilize them, most of them are more than happy to contribute and become real ambassadors. They understand also better the limits and challenges faced by public authorities in implementing solutions to their needs, and they often bring in a very useful added dimension to what is really needed in terms of solution. So that's why we say the focus of the covenant will remain as has been the focus of AFE INNOVNET. How can we make sure that those initiatives will be scaled up, involving all the people at grassroots level? But it is a challenge. We are not saying it is easy. So hopefully those who have managed and have been successful will be able to share their experience with others who might then try to do the same back home. It has really to do with citizenship involvement. You may decide not to involve only senior people, but to have more interaction with your local citizens on solutions you want to introduce for your older citizens, but engaging with other age groups as well. This is done also sometimes, and seems to attract quite a lot of interest from local citizens.
Hugh, are you back on?
No. So we are trying to connect with you again.
Okay, doesn't matter. So we had another question from the city of Udine. And Sophie, I just put the slide back. There's maybe a confusion on how we could better identify the members, the future members of the covenant. Maybe you could give a short summary of who would be the members of the covenant.
Yes, okay. You would like more information on the targets of the covenant. So, as I tried to explain earlier, the covenant will seek to support, to increase by 2 years the healthy life year expectancy, but in doing so, to mobilize those who can make a difference, in particular public authorities. So that's why they are the target group, and they can join as full members. Those who will decide on the work priorities, will have a vote and so, but will also be able to elect the president. The difference between the full members and the ordinary members is that it's only for public authorities, while in ordinary members you can have public authorities who are not ready yet to take a formal commitment that it will take action and adopt an action plan, and then you have the other stakeholders categories. The main target of the covenant was decided to be limited to public authorities for the full membership, because we really want to follow the inspiration we got from the Covenant on Mayors for Sustainable Energies. We think that it's important. There is no, there is no such network that exists that enables the public authorities to get together, exchange their experience, and work together with other stakeholders, but while keeping the lead on what they are doing. So that's the target of the covenant. And then the process of identifying members, sorry, I have a cold, is we will continue the efforts like we have done under AFE INNOVNET. That means to mobilize public authorities. And here I just give the floor back to Neil for a minute, because she can explain what they have done through AFE INNOVNET to mobilize public authority. So what we, thank you, Francesca. I keep my breath. So the mobilization has been done through the AFE INNOVNET network, basically where we would target local and regional governments that were either interested or already implementing age-friendly environments at the local or regional level. We have tried to reach them and tried to convince them to share what they were doing with others, as what Anne-Sophie said earlier, that sharing good practices may inspire other stakeholders to continue this good movement in Europe. So now we hope that those that have joined the network, the AFE INNOVNET network, might join now the Covenant and continue their work to make this more sustainable, more more stabilized in Europe. Yeah. Thank you, New, because I just couldn't speak anymore. The role of the Covenant will be to continue to mobilize larger numbers of public authorities, and in doing so, we hope to be able to count on the members of the Covenant themselves. They are often in contact. For example, you have national organizations of local authorities. You have also informal networks where those active members are already involved because they share similar challenges, and then they exchange with other public authorities and can learn a lot from each other. We hope they will each time promote the Covenant and will encourage others to join. That will be, the mobilization efforts will be shared by all Covenant members. For the full members in particular, it will be important to be more and more public authorities engaged in the Covenant. The purpose of the Covenant is not to create a select club of the best performers, but on the contrary, to create a network which will be open to everyone who has an interest or face the same challenge and is interested to see what the others have been doing, what they are doing, and how they can improve their own processes by learning from each other. So the mobilization effort is certainly something that will remain a key objective of the covenant, and we count on the members for that. I hope it answers the question from Udine.
No, I think they have further questions. So I think you could see the covenant as a structure that would provide a secretariat to the members who would like to, well, who would be members of the covenant. So how do we intend to involve public authorities who could then, how could we involve them? Well, by joining the covenant, you become a member of the covenant. And these members are either public authorities that have implemented an action plan, but others that are just only at the side of this action plan. They are just interested and they maybe don't have the capacity to already implement this action plan. But we would put all these public authorities together through the covenant and thus sharing good practices.
But if I understand correctly, Stefania, your question is how the public authorities who would be involved in the covenant could then bring also the local stakeholders that they work with. That's really what we would like the members to do. Let's say you have in Udine a cooperation with stakeholders, and that can include your local industry, for example, or your research centers. You should encourage them to join in the categories where they can join. So for the non-for-profit, they can join as ordinary members, and the profit-making, so if you have a local industry who has been very helpful, if you have spin-off who have developed innovative solutions, please do encourage them to join. This is open to all categories of stakeholders at all governance level. So it means public authorities, civil society organizations, research centers, as well as industries, and they do not need to be national or international industries. Large companies, local groups can have a good solution that they have developed for you, and they may be interested to scale up and find new business opportunities somewhere else, either in your own countries or in other EU member states. This is the purpose of the covenant. It's to create this formal structure that will enable connections between and hopefully partnerships between the different category of stakeholders at different level of governance.
And how do you plan to identify these founding members in Sophie?
So the founding members will be all those, we had a slide on that, will be all those who will have joined, applied by the, sorry, I'm using the wrong key, we will have applied by the 15th of January. I'm just getting there. Whatever category, if you join before the 15th of January, then you will be considered founding members. Of course, your application has to be approved so that we don't let come in. But on the 15th of January, we have put this postponed this deadline. There is an echo. Sorry. Yeah, is that okay like this?
I'm just muting your microphone. There's an echo.
Okay, you will, all those who will have applied and been approved by the 15th of January will be listed among the founding members, and we will ask them to send, it's a short paperwork that they have to give proxy, so that when we establish formally in front of the notary, in presence of the notary, all the founding members will be listed as having signed the statutes. There is no need for the founding members to be physically present when this happens. The Belgian law allows for proxies to be given to those who will be present in Brussels and can sign on their behalf. So that's why we want, within the framework of the AFE INNOVNET project, to have the signature, physical signature with the notary. That's why we needed the 2 last weeks of January to do that. So to be a founding members, please make sure you join and register when the online registration will be launched very soon, because we had the last few requirements on some questions coming from WHO Global Network, which has postponed a little bit the launch of the registration online, but it will be launched most probably next week, and then everybody will be informed. Then please register as quickly as you have made your decision internally, and then the list of those who will have signed by the 7th of December will be announced on the day of the launch on the 7th, and then the founding members list will be published on the website as well, and will be finalized on the 15th of January. And of course, we count on those of you who are very eager to support the covenant, because we need a strong list of founding members to show already the interest that there is for the covenant. And as we said, it gives the founding members will have a specific right during the first 3 years, in the sense that they will be able to nominate among themselves 10 members on the board of directors, in addition to the president who will be elected by the full members, so the public authorities. There are vice presidents elected both by the full members and the ordinary members, a treasurer, of course, and the secretary general. This is detailed in the statutes. I didn't go into so much details because it would take too much time, but if you feel that there is a need for more explanation on the way the governance of the covenant will be organized, we can maybe come back on that, or have a form of a plain language document that would translate the legal wording of the statutes into something which is easier to understand.
So there's another question from Udine. So we know that for the Covenant of Mayors, which is on climate change, they have a system of monitoring which is very quantitative. Is there a way for the Covenant on Demographic Change to have the same system, to have this, to be able to compare different countries, and to be able to compare the benefits of any H20 initiatives?
Yes. In fact, this is part of what we are adding following discussions with WHO, that in the action plan that the full members will commit to implement within 2 years of accession, we want to add the need to set up some progress indicators, so that they will be able to monitor the progress they make, but using the indicators they are used to use themselves, because we do not find similar indicators at local level across the EU. Having said that, we are also working with the Commission and the UNECE on the Active Aging Index, which is an index which assesses the potential for active aging, and has been developed by the EC and the UNECE, and is now giving a clear picture at national level. Now we are working with this group to develop a version that will be easier to use at regional level. One region, Biscay region, actually has built their own set of indicators which are as close as possible to the active aging index used at national level. So we want to use their experience and then see if this can be developed in other regions in Spain to start with, but also in other regions of the European Union. And then for the local level, the set of indicators are even within a country not always the same. So WHO approach is that each full member decide what indicator they want to use to monitor progress they make, and they share the information on the indicators that they have used. But remember also within AFE INNOVNET project, we have done a lot of work with the what we call the SEED tool, which is the socio-economical environmental impact tool, which is building links between what you implement at local level and how do you measure that using indicators, and how can you relate that to impact, concrete impact you can measure, for example, on increased well-being of older people. So the work is going on. Unfortunately, we were not successful with the project that we had submitted, which would have enabled us to develop for the covenant an online indicator system that would build the link between the local level using your own indicators and enabling that to be traced to the national indicators to measure progress. This is important because it means if you can demonstrate by the action you are taking at local level, you are, for example, improving the employment rate of all the workers in your area, or diminishing the number of hospitalization days needed by your aging population because you have introduced a measure, this has an impact on indicators which are monitored at national level. And it's important to be able to trace the link between the two so that hopefully you can get support from your national authorities as part of the action plan they may decide to introduce to support local age-friendly environments. That's work we need to do within the covenant using the tools we have been able to develop so far through the AFE INNOVNET project and what is being done with the Active Aging Index to try and develop a regional or sub-national version, let's say.
I hope we have answered your questions, Stefania and Furio. If you have other questions, do not hesitate to write them down. Otherwise, I have one last question to Anne-Sophie. What would be your argument to convince local and regional authorities to join our covenant? If you had one sentence to give to them.
Well, demographic aging is a big challenge, if not the major challenge or the most urgent challenge for the moment. It is really a challenge they cannot ignore, and all of them are struggling. So by joining forces, by sharing information about their own work and looking at what others are doing, we hope that they will be convinced that it's worth joining the covenant. Joining the covenant is a voluntary decision and members can withdraw at any time. The only thing, if they want to continue to remain members of the covenant, they have to show that they are interested and continue to consider demographic change as an issue of importance, and they want to continue to implement their plan. But hopefully the covenant will prove by itself that it's bringing an added value to them. And then hearing from others and seeing at what is posted on the website that we will maintain after the end of the AFE INNOVNET project. Age will continue to host the covenant website. We hope that this will help scale up really more widely what we are trying to achieve.
I'm just communicating now with Hugh to see if you can still hear us. Okay, so
yeah, because obviously his video has been turned on.
Oh, Hugh, can you hear us?
No.
Perfect.
Oh, great. Was there any particular question or issue you'd like me to come in on?
Could you maybe, do you think, how could you convince the rest of Europe to replicate what is happening now in Ireland with this movement, age-friendly Ireland? How do you think you could convince the rest of Europe to follow your example?
Oh, wow, a daunting thing. I think it's iterative, it's incremental. Anne-Sophie not just hinted at, I think captured it very well. What seems to be planned is an iterative, incremental way of building the covenant, building engagement with this whole theme of age-friendliness, building age-friendly environments. On the subject of older people involvement, Anne-Sophie indicated the challenge and the scale of the challenge. It isn't easy, but the commitment on the part of the municipalities, local authorities to the Dublin Declaration and now to the Covenant, I think is going to be so extremely valuable in keeping this commitment in place and this subject on the agenda of all of the agencies. And I think that's one of the key valuable functions of the covenant, it'll broaden out the commitment beyond local authorities and municipalities. I think that's going to be very valuable. And Sophie mentioned the role of the parallel role of capacity building, and that's something we invest heavily in with our partner older people's organisations such as Age and Opportunity here in Ireland, a member of Age Platform. And then looking to the other, it's not just an age and older people's issue. This has an impact and significance to all groups of all ages, and so the principle of community engagement, citizen engagement, has a role and a relevance to all. But this isn't just about it certainly provides an opportunity to enhance quality of life, but it's an opportunity to enhance systems, to make considerable efficient cost savings, and to bring about a more relevant and sustainable environment and system of planning for all of the agencies. So it puts this key challenge very high on the table, and it'll help to retain focus on it. So we really welcome the covenant and are very much looking forward to engaging with it.
I will get back to Furio from Udine, Mr. Furio. In fact, the system does not enable us to give the floor to the participants per se. You have to communicate through the emails, but you will be present on the 7th of December, and I will really count on you to be able to express everything you wanted to say today, but also to raise additional questions if you have. But you have been very, very active from the beginning. So we need ambassadors like you, and we hope you will convince others to become ambassadors and show them that it brings an added value to the whole community, but also for you at local level, how this is helping you when you can cooperate with others. Thank you.
So Hugh, your microphone is muted, but I think we can end now the webinar. Thank you very much, Hugh, for the support Age Friendly Ireland is giving to the Covenant on Demographic Change. And to all of you that are here today, so it's still possible to become a founding member before the 15th of January. After that specific date, people can still join the Covenant, but as full member or ordinary member. And as Anne-Sophie said, if you become a founding member, you have a prerogative as a founding member. So spread the word. It is the Covenant will be launched on the 7th of December. So please convince your local and regional authorities that it is a priority for them and for you and for us. And if you have questions, write me an email. The PowerPoints will be sent out by email and uploaded on the website, and hopefully the recording also on YouTube. Thank you very much.
And if I may add in response to what we received from Udine, yes, don't consider that the Covenant is only for public authorities. It is as important to mobilize also other stakeholders, and in particular companies and startups. So that's your role. You're the best place. You know them. You work with them, and hopefully they will be made to join as well. And they're welcome to join as founding members as well. Huh? So please spread the word. Thank you.